This week on One Day Leader, our contestants jump in on the Open Up the Industry debate. Good evening, Mzansi. We're coming to you live on SABC 1. Lapha siphethe khona ezishisayo igama uPearl Shongwe. Namhlanje ke elinye elamanqamu ingabe ubani ozoya ekhaya? Yes, Mzansi. Tonight is our second elimination as we get closer to announcing the One Day Leader Season 7 winner. Tonight's topic is #OpenUpTheIndustry. Is our entertainment industry always recycling old talent? Well, more about that later on. For now, let me give you the information you've all been waiting for. This is how you voted for last week. Leader 2 leads the pack with 2,853 viewer votes, and Leader 5 lags way behind with 24 votes. Congratulations to you, Leader 2. You get 1 point. Our series scoreboard now shows that Leader 2 leads with 14 points, followed by Leader 5 with 13 points, and last on the list is Leader 1 with 6 points. Back to tonight's topic, #OpenUpTheIndustry is a cry out for the arts and entertainment industries to create opportunities for emerging talent. Now, recently, a well-known media personality expressed her views in defense of her position as a successful practitioner on social media about the matter. The Open Up the Industry hashtag then trended on Twitter, with many people being upset with her comments, claiming that some celebrities get most jobs across all platforms as a radio presenter, TV presenter, musician, model, reality TV star, you name them, and sometimes all the above. We conducted an informal survey, and the general consensus was that people want to see new faces. Now, this leads me to tonight's debate question. What do we consider to be true development in film and TV industries? To all who shared their thoughts regarding this issue, thank you very much for your participation. Nikhumbuleke nanilapha emakhaya ukuthi you are more than welcome to join the conversation. Our Facebook page is One Day Leader SA. Also visit our Twitter page. It is @OneDayLeader and #OneDayLeader7. All right, it is time for us to get the show rolling. Remember that your comments as you engage with us will be appearing on our screens. Right. Let's hold it right there for now, and let's quickly hear from our leaders themselves. We're about to get into your vision statements. We do this weekly. Peaceful, good evening. Your vision statement, please.
Thank you. We have become disability champions, an eye for the blind and ear for the deaf, a fortress of refuge for orphans and a light of hope for widows. Alone, I was the toothless lion, but together we have created an inclusive society for the marginalized. We are the children of the soil, Africans for the African.
Thank you very much. Peaceful. Good evening, Anisa. Your vision statement, please.
Thank you so much. I had a conversation with Mother Africa the other day, and we spoke of our rich history and the bliss of a united Africa, which led to my vision of social justice through education. South Africa, I have received the signal, and I am here and will forever be inspired by the vision and courage of Mam Winnie Nomzamo Madikizela Mandela. This, I promise, call me daughter of the soil.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Khothatso. Your vision statement, please.
I speak on behalf of the young man who has to choose between finding a job and finishing his studies when I say that poverty doesn't look good on anyone. And on behalf of the grandmother who has to choose between settling her house bills and getting proper medical care, I say that no two human rights can be mutually exclusive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Khothatso. Hello, Busi. Your vision statement, please.
I am not a martyr, but I'm an activist and a black radical feminist, and I believe in the fire of black love, the sweat of truth, and in free decolonized education. I am not here to imagine a world that ought to be, but I am here to create a world, an Africa, South Africa, that should be by any means necessary. Unomzamo Sege Susile, and I am Agent Mufirifiri at your service.
Thank you very much. And of course, Leader 6, welcome. Your vision statement, please.
I believe in the fourth industrial revolution, a world where we are not excluded by not being able to compete with artificial intelligence. Because in this world, we invent it, we speak to it, and we solve problems with it. Because technology should never be a barrier to entry, but a bridge to progression. South Africa, I have been sent to tell you that the robots are no longer coming. They have arrived.
Thank you very much, leaders. Now let's take a look at how you can keep your favorite leader in the competition. To vote for your favorite leader, SMS his or her number to 32792. If you want to vote for Peaceful, SMS Leader 1. For Anisa, SMS Leader 2. For Khothadzo, SMS Leader 3. Busi, Leader 5. And for Webster, SMS Leader 6. Now remember, viewers, a grand prize is up for grabs, and that's an amount that could change any one of these leaders' lives. Ngakho-ke Mzansi, keep your phone in your hand and be ready to vote for your #1 leader of 2019. Our lines will be opened at the end of tonight's episode. Now, over to our guest judge. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Eddie Mbalo, who's a board member at the Gauteng Film Commission. Allow me to also welcome our resident judges. They are Gugulethu Gugs Mshungu, who has over 10 years experience in media. Currently, she's the deputy editor for a leading South African magazine and was the winner of the 2015 Columnist of the Year at the Legends Media Awards, as well as Ndumiso Hadebe, who is a one-day leader alumni who won season 2 of the show. He's an economist by profession as well as an entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a warm welcome. Ed, I'd love to start with you this evening. What do you make of this topic? I mean, hashtag open up the industry has, been on a lot of people's minds. People are talking about it, tweeting about it, engaging on different platforms. What's your take?
I think the industry is very much open, only if you know exactly what is it that you want to do. People need to understand that the industry is much, much broader than just acting or even writing, directing. There's lots of opportunities behind the scenes so that people can take advantage of.
All right. Thank you very much, Eddie Ndumiso. What perspectives are you looking forward to hearing from our contestants tonight?
Well, I look forward to hearing some views with regards to this particular discussion, perhaps as it relates to some of the structural aspects of this particular conversation. What are they? What are the barriers to entry in this particular industry? Are they systemic, or are they as a result of an evolving and rapidly changing world? So I'm interested to hear some of the views that will be articulated here this evening.
All right. Thank you very much. Good. I'll come back to you a little later on. We are joined tonight by season 6 winner, Zongezile Qeba. I want to find him in the audience and ask, what advice do you have for our contestants? I mean, this is elimination time.
You guys are amazing in your own different ways. We have the disability representative, the justice system, the unemployed, the feminist, and obviously the 4th Industrial Revolution. I think it's an interesting group of leaders. But my advice to you would be that you shouldn't take anything personal, because I had Pearl saying that somebody's going to get eliminated. We came here to represent those we've been leading. We have went through several stages, and we should not stop leading. I'm still leading even now. Continue leading regardless of whatever happens today.
Thank you very much, Zongezile. Open Up the Industry is not just about the regular faces you know about in theatre, television, film, radio, but also about the opportunities that are available behind the scenes, as our guest judge has just mentioned. Now, for some people, it is more than just a mantra or, a catchphrase or a slogan. It's also a social movement to fast-track skills development and introduce further transformation within the creative industries. Now, let's move on to our task of the week, and let's find out how all of this relates to this matter.
All right, guys, we have a message from Pele. It says, good day, leaders. So many young hopefuls would like to pursue a career in the entertainment, both in front and behind the scenes. However, many in the public believe old talent is blocking new faces from breaking into the market. Our task today is to uncover if there are enough opportunities for new players to break into creative industries. And Hutatso, you are the task leader.
I think that it's quite relevant for us to speak and meet up with actors, because I think they're the most vocal in terms of open up the industry.
I think we should possibly look at someone who has had the industry opened up to them. If you can find someone of that nature.
D-list.
Exactly.
During the brief discussion, I decided as task leader that Webster and I are going to speak to the talent.
Skim Sam was my first gig on television. I was new. I was never seen anywhere. And in terms of the initial project, it used to be Bedi dominated. So it was exposing our cultures, our language, and that's now opening that specific tribe to the world. Yeah, okay. My Gabalor not about spend the rest of the holidays.
No, around. I can't attend the extravaganza.
Oh, I see. I'm Poch. Oh, one on MK.
Hey, but Tibos were not on a kaimo. Hey, sharp.
There was a time in the television space where you only saw old people and you couldn't see young people on screen. Then we said we want stories that must be told by young people. Then you saw those stories. That's part of what opening up the industry. It's a trend that has been happening for years.
I think what needs to happen more than anything is for the industry to grow in order for it to also be able to have more people come in, being able to have more people come in.
You guys started as unseen artists and look where you are right now. So maybe we should groom that space. Yeah.
I believe in balance, right?
Sure.
So I think every show should have a balance of seasoned actors who can lead the up and coming actors and who can show the up and coming actors what to do. That's what happened with me. I studied film and television, and they don't tell you these things in school. So even if you've got a degree, they're not going to tell you how it's going to be on set, and each set is different. So where do you learn those things from? Do you learn it from someone who's just walked in with you, you know, or do you learn it from, you know, someone that you respect and you've been watching for a long time and has been through many different experiences?
How do you feel about the fact that there's a lack of creativity in South Africa?
I don't think that there's a lack of creativity in South Africa. I think that there's a lack of opportunity for that creativity to be shown. South Africans have stories. We've got stories. People are talented. That's why every time there's like an open audition for any show, the queues go on forever, you know?
They feel that the industry must be open, not even for them anymore because they have a foot in the industry. They feel like it should be open for other people because Conrad said something very profound, and he said that he's also a product of the industry being opened.
Well, do stay with us to see how our leaders further handled this task. Stay tuned. Angbining namukele ku one-day leader ohlelweni labaholi benu bakusasa. Tonight's debate topic is, what do we consider to be true development within the film and TV industries? I guess bone how the contestants completed their task this week.
We went to the Gauteng Film Commission in central Johannesburg, and we were able to speak to Ntate Desmond.
Gauteng Film Commission is a provincial agency of government and whose mandate is to support the creation and the industry, the development of the industry in the province. And so we work with emerging filmmakers, intermediate filmmakers, and established filmmakers. In this financial year, we now begin to start and support around script development, where emerging filmmakers can come in and request funding, maybe to research their projects as well, because sometimes it's difficult that you don't have finances to do proper research for your script. Hence, you would see the success rate of films.
So I just want to find out how you assist, you know, upcoming and emerging filmmakers in protecting their intellectual property, because there's been complaints specifically around this open up the industry that people will come and pitch their ideas, and then you'll find that they don't get any credit for their ideas. They don't get, you know, commissioned to work on those projects, and, you know, bigger companies and other producers and so forth steal those ideas. So do you do any work around intellectual property when it comes to, you know, the film industry that you work in?
I mean, obviously, as government would work with various institutions like DTI, I know they are spearheading that whole IP protection, and the industry itself. I know there was that law that was passed recently where it's caused discomfort around the industry. So I think issues of IP is critical as well. And as GFC, we always believe that these emerging filmmakers need to own the IP.
So now we're going to Soweto to meet Usphiwe. And he is a graduate in media television, and he does everything from directing to writing to producing.
How are you? Usphiwe.
I find Usphiwe as an entrepreneur and as an employer. But one thing I picked up the most is before you can employ someone else, you need to employ yourself. So one of the challenges that he might be facing in the industry, or maybe one of the highlights he might be having, might be the integration of new talent and youth in the industry itself.
Basically, I grew up acting from a tender age. I grew up, I've acted in a lot of TV commercials. I come from a supportive family. My dad would take me around to auditions. And then when I finished high school, I went to study film. And then I graduated 2014. And then 2015, I interned. And then 2016, that's when I started my own film production company, Favor Media.
So what has been your experience within the industry? Do you think the industry is open to new artists in terms of producing, in terms of acting, and so forth?
Actually, you know, it hasn't been a smooth road because I remember when I was interning, I used to run like office errands. So while I was doing all of those things with my degree, I would analyze and then learn, okay, this is how they shoot, this is the number of crew members that they have, this specific crew member does this, so that when I start my own thing, I will know what I'm doing.
Looking at the GFC, we see that they assisted him get into the industry, but at the same time, he spoke about hard work, sleepless nights, him having to do stuff that he'd normally not do in order to be where he is.
So just in closing, we'd like to find out from you, like as a collective, that do you perhaps think that there is more that can be done to open up the industry? Yes, no?
I think there's more that can be done. Firstly, let me start here. There's so many opportunities in our industry. I mean, you have places such as your Gauteng Film Commission. You also have places such as the Bioscope Cinema in Maboneng, which is a place where we've premiered all our movies. So you don't have, as an independent filmmaker, if you can't go to Stekineko to premiere because of funds, there are independent filmmakers which you can go to, such as your Maboneng. There's also film festivals taking place around the world where you can submit your movie and get recognition.
The question of opening up the industry, it's a very broad question. Going into the task, I thought it would be easy to answer, but turns out it's not that straightforward once we spoke to the relevant people. Because the question then becomes, do we need to open up the industry or do we need to expand the industry?
A big thank you to our task participants for sharing their stories of how they created their own paths in breaking into this entertainment industry. Now, let me quickly come to you, Gugu. Just looking at how our leaders performed in the task, do you think they did their best? Did they interrogate this topic enough?
I think they did well to tease out some of the issues. I think speaking to people who are on camera was quite a good idea, and also speaking to people behind the industry. And I quite like that at the end they got a sense of how complex and broad this topic is. And I'm very keen to hear, and I hope it comes up in the debate, about the business model of the industry. So even when we speak about opening it up, what does that entail? What does that mean for the business model? But I think they did very well on that task.
All right, Googs, thank you very much. And that's definitely something for our leaders to consider, because when we come back, we'll be getting into those debates.
The National Youth Development Agency, it's an agency of all young people in South Africa. Over the last few years, the organization has existed in affluent areas, in towns and so on. So what we've been doing now is to take it to rural areas, to townships, so that young people across the country are able to benefit out of it. We continue to impact the lives of young people for the better.
One day leader. Now, that was a message from our proud sponsor, the NYDA, who play a crucial role in developing the youth of our nation. A big thank you to them for being one of the main sponsors for a share of 500,000 Rand prize that our remaining 5 leaders are gunning for. Eddie, I'd like to come back to you very quickly. The industry is already so saturated and South Africa has so much talent. We're all fighting to get in, but it also seems like we're fighting for half a loaf. Do you think it's more important for us to open the industry for those who are still wanting to come in? Or is it important for those who are looking for a way in to create opportunities? I mean, there's social media, there's YouTube, there's Instagram. There's so many other new, fresh ways for us to get our talent out there.
Look, I think the opportunities are great. And again, you know, we can't be complaining about older people, you know, they're aging, you know, so new talent has to come in. The young people who are supposed to come in and take over. The truth is that, you know, with the broadcasters, the cinemas, the streaming, those are all platforms that we should be looking at. My advice to young people is that they need to identify the area where they want to participate and then be trained and practice and perfect what they're supposed to do. The truth is that a lot of our young people, they want to come into a higher level. You know, you have to start at the bottom and grow into it.
All right. Thank you very much, Eddie. Now, before the break, we watched our leaders investigate if there are existing opportunities for fresh talent to break into the entertainment industry. Now, let's hear from our leaders as we get into this week's debate. These are the rules for the one-day leader debate. You have 30 seconds to state your opening statement, 60 seconds to challenge your opponent, and 30 seconds to conclude your argument. All right, our first debate is between Busi and Peaceful. You guys are familiar by now with the debate topic. What do we consider to be the true development in the film and TV industries? Peaceful, I'll start with you. You have the first 30 seconds.
All right, the entertainment industry in South Africa makes use of a demographic proportionality. This sociological approach allocates capital and top management positions to white population groups and one dominant black group in such a way that the right skills and access to opportunity are only afforded to one group of people. It is because of this form that discrimination has become so systematic and so institutional, in a sense that majority of TV programs that are playing during peak hours are made for Tswana and Zulu people. It does become so difficult for new talent from different tribes.
Up. Thank you very much. You leaders have 60 seconds to engage.
Okay, so Peaceful, what is the solution you're presenting to the country?
My solution is that we should become more diverse in terms of putting people in top management. It has been 25 years since the people of Guyana has had their first TV show.
If I may, Peaceful, how is putting people in top management going to allow for the opening up of the industry? Because you're also speaking to a select few who will be able or qualified enough to enter those top positions.
That is my argument. The power is with the person who has the ability to open, which is the people in management and the people that are sitting in production and in management offices.
But then there's this argument that people in top management are doing things like couch casting, right, where they are asking for talent to sleep with them. They're asking for favors from talent in order for talent to open up or to access the industry. How then do you regulate that the management will be able to regulate and to allow people to enter?
That is not my argument. I'm speaking on tribalism as one of the things that segregates the participation of new talent into the industry.
But Peace, there are social divisions all across society, which you're not presenting to South Africa as a solution as to how people can access the industry.
Thank you, leaders. Time is up. Peaceful, you have the remaining 30 seconds.
In conclusion, my take is that we need to stop making places like Soweto the benchmark of South African history that influences media content. Secondly, we need to break free from colonial inheritance of apartheid architecture of the likes of Hendrik Verwoerd and start building media infrastructures in small places like Guyana through arts and culture programs. Lastly, we need to increase access to internet in places outside of Joburg in order to break dependence from traditional media and give power to the people where they'll be able to create and stream their own content.
Time is up. Thank you very much. much. The tables are turned. This is where your 30 seconds start now.
According to a report by the PwC titled Entertainment and Media Outlook 2015 to 2019, the Outlook forecasts that South African entertainment and media industry is expected to grow from 112.7 billion rand in 2014 to 176.3 billion in 2019 at a compound annual growth of 9.4%, with digital spend expected to fuel the overall growth. What does this mean for the lane man at the bottom? It means that there is money that is available. How do we access it?
Time is up. Thank you very much. Leaders, engage.
Lucy, the publication from PwC suggests that only 34 billion can contribute to the digital space. But the challenge is we are not fully integrated with internet in other parts of South Africa.
But I'm not speaking just about digital, right? So the media industry and the entertainment industry is not just limited to media. It goes over to gaming.
But
it goes
the
over to
publication you are talking
business.
about was emphasizing on the digital space in South Africa.
And the reason why I said I've got solutions to present to the country is that what needs to happen is that people who want to enter the industry have to be flexible. They need to be able to provide freedom and convenience for consumers.
When you speak of the digital, who's going to produce the content? Who's going to buy the content? We're speaking of putting people into the industry.
No. We're not talking about putting people into the industry. What we're doing is we're giving people the opportunity to access the industry.
But we're speaking in terms of the consumer. If you're speaking of digital, you're speaking of the consumer.
It's not going to be viable for us. Look at Muse, for an example. Someone who was able to launch his entire career off of Facebook on a digital platform and is now on the Queen and on radio.
We need to be
able. Thank you very much, leaders. Busi, you have the remaining 30 seconds.
Thank you. What we need to do, and what I was hoping the disability champion would be able to tell us, is he'd be able to comment on, the new act that has now been put out and is presently at the Copyright Amendment Act that is presently at President Cyril Ramaphosa's table, and how that influences not only people with disabilities in accessing this, the industry, but also how does it affect people who are already in the industry and facing issues like couch casting, facing issues such as having to sleep with directors, producers, and unable to get internships.
Time is up. Thank you very much. And that's our first debate done and dusted. Ndumiso, I'll come to you for first impressions on how that went.
No, we are in episode 11 now. The content is certainly much more richer. Sure, this particular debate, there was a lot of content that came through, and some of the issues are quite controversial, and most of them have to do a lot with who are the buyers, who are the sellers, and what does the distribution channel look like? What does policy say with regards to this particular discussion? And also issues around social and cultural integration with regards to the productions that come out of this industry, pardon me. And so as a consequence of that, it would seem, the third one, is it? It would seem that this debate goes too peaceful.
All right, thank you very much. Peaceful, congratulations. Before we go to an ad break, I'd just like to come to you, Zongezile. That was the first debate, very heated. Are you impressed with our leaders?
I think from the previous episodes that I've seen, they have improved so much. I was concerned about their research level. Their research was impeccable, stats on point, and also bringing it to the society that we are currently living in, and also the relevance. That's very important, but I'm very impressed.
All right, thank you very much. Well, our voting lines will be opened at the end of tonight's episode and will be closed next week, Thursday at 12 midday. Keep on voting for your favorite leader by SMSing their number to our SMS line, which is 32792. Your votes will, of course, be revealed at the top of next week's episode. Do join us after the break as we get into our second debate. Welcome back to One Day Leader. Our debate topic for tonight is, what do we consider to be the true development in the film and TV industry? It's time for us to get into our second debate for tonight, and it will be between Webster and Kgothatso. You guys are familiar with the rules. Kgothatso, your 30 seconds start now.
Okay. 2019 marks 22 years since the Constitution came into force, but equality and opportunity for the artistic child still remains inaccessible. We have thousands of schools, but not even 20% of them offer dramatic arts. We don't question why we see low-budget sponsorship that is masked as support by the government, like in the case of Spiwe. We need to criminalize piracy. We need to question the relationship between talent, experience, and connections. But above everything, we need a strong, solid foundation of basic education from grade 10 to 12.
Time is up. Thank you very much. Your leaders can feel free to engage.
So that's why I hear you speaking about criminalizing piracy and things, and I think that it's quite a stretch you're reaching. Because one, you need to first tell us what would you do to develop the industry in anticipating of opening.
Okay, Webster, if you were listening to me, I said that before we can even dream about opening up the industry, we need to develop it at a very fundamental stage where I know that in grade 10, if I'm interested in studying academic arts, I need to be able to choose it then. And then we need to protect our people now that they're learned in that. It is the same as protecting academic intelligence.
That is status quo. It's already happening. People are studying. People are nurturing their
talent.
It is
not status quo.
How
it is not status quo.
How does that talent that is nurtured in basic education systems,
it is not status quo if a child from Limpopo is not learning about the arts in grade 10 to 12, is not practicing dramatic arts.
How does that child enter the space? That's the chat.
We first need to develop the child at that stage,
okay,
and then they will enter the space
child is developed
knowing and
now.
being confident.
How does that child enter the space?
Time is up. Thank you very much. Kotatu, we have 30 seconds.
Okay, to answer your question, Webster, the average South African child is conditioned to suppress their interest in film and television until after high school. We need to merge policies with programs here. We need a policy of 40% new talent quota, and we need to fund a producer to help them fund another producer. So we'll be looking at the growth and expertise of South Africa and how they'll be nurtured. We believe that every public school can offer the artistically gifted child with the academics that they need. We need to implement the Charter for Humanity and Social Sciences.
Thank you very much. Kotatu, the tables are turned. Webster, it's your turn.
Panel, any solution brought to you today means nothing if the monopoly and the stronghold of existing talent is not broken. This means, one, we think that we need to create blanket security income programs for people that already exist, because the reason why they monopolize the space is because they're underpaid and overworked. These are individuals that have to do radio and television to make ends meet. We tell you here that what our solution is a residual income program where individuals are paid even after talent is
Time is up. Thank you very much. Your leaders can engage.
Okay, so Webster, I hear you speaking about paying people enough, but I need you to prove to me that is it sufficient that the people will be paid enough and will not work other jobs as well? Is it sufficient? I understand that it's very necessary, but is it sufficient to curb the problem?
This is a regulating system. Okay. It's a policy, meaning that if someone gets a blanket security program, gets medical aid, gets an income per month, but also gets a residual income policy program where they get to benefit from their talent at the point where it's repeated, ladies and gentlemen, that person has no other interest in any other form of talent.
I tell you that as of now, arts hold secondary position. When we go into school, we don't focus on arts. What we focus on is accounting and sciences. You need to tell me how you're going to equip the person to have that confidence to go into that space.
We have the chat of art becoming a primary subject, history is becoming a compulsory subject. It still does not break the stronghold of the monopoly of people.
You are working towards changing this at the upper level.
Time is up. Thank you very much, Webster. You have the remaining 30 seconds.
In conclusion, what I tell you is a residual income program that allows for production teams and for talent to benefit way after they have done it. Examples of these are SABC Encore and repeats of programs that have already aired. This means that actors and talent have a better way of understanding where their next meal comes from or where their next income comes from. But lastly, it breaks the monopoly of those individuals, but moreover, it still gives them a security, a blanket security that is not
Time is up. Thank you very much. Woo! Now that was what I call a heated debate. Googs, I want to come to you. I'm very excited to hear your feedback.
So I think they teased out some pretty important issues here because I think, again, very complex topic. I'm glad that skills came up. So the idea of how do we then capacitate the people who are then able to take up the spaces that are made open in the industry. I think that's quite important. And the other one is about the people that are in the industry. So some of the issues are very systemic and speak to the status quo. And I'm very glad that that came up as well, to say, well, the people who are being asked to open the industry, are they actually able to do so? What would it cost them to do so? Because that's another serious part of the conversation as well. So I think a very nuanced, very interesting, very meaty debate.
All right, let's quickly get to the verdict.
By unanimous vote, this one goes to Webster.
All right, thank you very much, and congratulations to you, Webster. Yeah, I certainly hope that broadcasters and producers, as well as the government, are listening here, because it's not so easy to hashtag open up the industry. Well, our final debate has an odd-numbered leader, which is, of course, leader 2, Anissa. Now, as a show, Anissa, you have been leading in terms of the scoreboard for a couple of weeks, and we feel that you deserve the opportunity to be able to choose any one of the other leaders that you want to debate and hopefully get yourself in an even better position.
I'll go with leader number 5.
Leader number 5. All right, Anissa, your 30 seconds start now.
Thank you so much. Adapt or perish. With a market size of 1.2 billion, this is the slogan that we must adapt and make fashionable in the 21st century with the emergence of the third industrial revolution and living in the digital age. This is exactly what a film and TV industry have to be cognizant of. A paper by Nelson Mandela University clearly suggests that we need an industry called Sollywood, and this Sollywood needs to be dynamic and flexible in the face of the rapid technological change. Porter's 5 forces change directs us to the competitive advantage that we have to have in sustaining the competitive edge, which we look at online.
Thank you very much, leaders. Debate.
Lisa, in sustaining this competitive edge, how do we then get people to access the industry?
This is where the hashtag of data must fall comes in. If we're moving towards a 4th industrial revolution and we're in a 3rd industrial revolution, we need to tell government that it's either we adapt or perish. Give us the data so that we can stream this. Can I complete
data has fallen.
Have you?
Data has fallen, right?
Okay, cool.
But how does that make sure that Webster is able to access the industry as someone who's coming from
you
UJ as a graduate?
You equip him with the devices. 4th industrial revolution speaks about everybody having access. This is where adapt or die or adapt and perish comes from. You give them and you equip them with these things so they are able to consume what you're selling to them, and that is exactly how we achieve it.
But Anissa, isn't consumption based on the consumer? Doesn't the consumer then decide what exactly they consume,
once
when,
they
where,
have
and how?
the device in front of them, Boosie.
But how are people going to be able to access these devices? Are you doing that whole SASCO campaign of one student, one laptop? What is going on here? How exactly?
Basically, actually, thank you very much. That is exactly what we're doing. Thank you
very much. Anissa, you have the remaining 30 seconds.
Though I do not subscribe to the Darwinian theory, it is evident that our untransformed industry needs to meet the speed and magnitude of the disruptive change. We're assisted with the availability of modern technology such as digital cameras and everything. We see this with the rapid growth of YouTube, your Netflix, The success of Nollywood South Africa did not come from them adapting to traditional ways. They have 300,000 people that they employ. It came from them disrupting everything. And hey, yo, bosses of the industry, open up the industry for our young people, man.
Time is up. Thank you very much. The tables are turned. We'll see where your 30 seconds start now.
Thank you. So, South Africa, let's take a look at an industry that is growing exponentially to a point where it is making approximately $1.2 billion US, not rands, but US dollars. Let's look at the Nigerian entertainment and media industry. The Nigerian entertainment and media industry is growing and is allowing access on the inside because of the fact that it has been able to demonopolize itself. How as it does this? It has been able to partner up with the Ghanaian entertainment industry. This is why Nollywood
and Ghana. Thank you very much, leaders. We have 60 seconds
to do.
Lucy, I'm very confused because first you take us to the US dollar currency, you talk about Nollywood. Nollywood does not use US dollars, it uses Naira. That is what I'm thinking. That's not my question.
Nigeria.
My question is, can you please give us a solution? Because you're talking these numbers, but ain't no solution coming.
So the reason why I raised the fact that Nigeria is about to move into the US dollar kind of affordability when it comes to the entertainment industry is because they are doing 3 things, ladies and gentlemen. Today, their media companies are innovating around the product and user experience. They're also developing seamless consumer relationships.
Can we please look at the population of Nigeria compared to that of South Africa? Look at the GDP of South Africa versus that of Nollywood.
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen.
And
this is why I'm giving
can I ask you my question? Which stage of production are you talking about? The 7 stages?
May I answer you, Anissa?
Go ahead.
And this is why I'm mentioning Nigeria and the fact that they've been able, because they have so many people in their country, they've been able to partner up with Ghana, right? With another country that doesn't have.
Thank you very Matt, Busisiwe, you have the remaining 30 seconds. Busisiwe, you cannot have a monologue. You have the remaining 30 seconds.
Thank you. What we need to be able to do is we need to put mobile and increasingly video at the center of the consumer experience. What we also need to do is we need to see how we can accommodate all these artists, all these different kinds of media entities outside of the country. We can no longer look to South Africa to provide the solution, but what we need to do is we need to feed into globalization. We're becoming a more globalized country, and we need to be able to take cognizance of the fact that we're no longer living on an island. South Africa needs to work with Botswana, Lesotho, and other countries to be able to develop its industry.
All right, thank you very much for that very heated debate. Let me come to our guest judge, Eddie. I'll give you a quick moment to just write your notes and make sure that your verdict is in so that you can take a look at your notes that your fellow judges have also written. A quick reflection on how that last debate went for you.
I think that critical issues that have been highlighted here. Firstly, the fourth industrial revolution has opened up opportunities for everyone, and this industry is at the center of the fourth industrial revolution. I think that coming with opening up the space, access to data becomes critical because we need to begin to look beyond just the broadcast system. Streaming has opened up the opportunities, and that's where we should be looking at. The most important thing that Busi spoke about is that we need to begin to look beyond South Africa if we're going to produce content for the world, because our market is too small.
Of course, indeed. Can we get the verdict? You can do the honors.
2.
All right. Congratulations, Leader 2, on winning that debate. Now, please continue to sending us your comments on our Facebook page as well as our Twitter page. We're dying to hear what you have to say. A quick ad break. Siyabuya. Hello and welcome to the final part of our show here tonight. We've had insightful debates here in studio, asking our leaders what their thoughts are about the hashtag Open Up the Industry debate. It is time for us to get parting words, but only from our guest judge tonight due to time. So Ed, very quickly, I just want to find out about the programs that you guys have and what people at home who are wanting to come into the industry can do.
Well, the programs for the GFC are really broad, but we try to, because of the limited resources that are available, we're trying to streamline the program. And I think that the GFC, because we operate alongside other national programs like the DTI rebate, the National Film and Video Foundation, and so forth, it becomes important that the GFC becomes focused. And I think investing in development, because no one else is putting as much money into development, that's where I think we should be focusing more.
All right, thank you very, very much. All right, well, before the ad break, our studio audience also had an opportunity to vote for one of 3 leaders who won their respective debates tonight. And the studio audience vote went to... You're on fire tonight, Leader 2. Congratulations, you get 1 point. All right, it is time for us to take a final look at our scoreboard. All right, as our vote stands, unfortunately, Leader 3 and Leader 1 are right at the bottom. It is time for us to say goodbye to both tonight. Let's take a look back at your journeys.
I am a disability champion. I am an eye for the blind and an ear for the deaf. Well, firstly, before I came to One Day Leader, I had my experiences of my own, but I like to admit that One Day Leader taught me new experiences itself. Being on TV, it's not as easy as people think. So One Day Leader has taught me to care about someone else than myself.
Peaceful, you have the first 30 seconds.
I honestly feel like with debates, I always ran the risk of losing a debate, looking at what I represented. Educating people about disability, it's a collective struggle globally. It takes time for people to understand what you're really talking about. My favorite debate throughout the show was the one where I had to try to incorporate sign language.
I would like you to continue explaining exactly how your plan suggests that you'll be able to assist the people that you're speaking about with disabilities. How capable is it to do that?
But first, I'd like to thank my family, my parents for all the great support, my brothers and sisters from Limpopo, and most importantly, the disability community for the support that they've shown me. And I'd really like to say that my dream was not necessarily to come and win, but to set a pace for the next leader who will represent people living with a disability.
If the township and village streets had a voice, they would speak up against the poor education and health systems.
One Day Leader was not what I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be easy to do, but it really showed me flames. It brought everything. If there's one thing that I learned about leadership on One Day Leader is honor yourself, because you're cooped up with 6 people in the same house, different leadership skills, different characters, and the challenge that it comes with is that you are either going to try and keep up with what everybody's doing or how everyone is doing something, and that will not take you far.
All right, guys, your 30 seconds starts now. Leader 3.
Okay, I'm having this debate with Peaceful, and I think it was about rape or something. So he mentioned a very good point, and then all of a sudden he's also demonstrating and he speaks to me in sign language. It was bad. It was horrible. I am grateful for the opportunity that One Day Leader has given me. It was such a great platform to showcase what I think are my leadership skills. For me, it was so much about growth other than anything. So I'm grateful for everybody that took part on my journey, with my journey on One Day Leader. Thank you.
Leader 1 and Leader 3, it's very sad for us to see you go. Thank you so much for your time and your acts of service. Well, remember, you at home, our voting lines are now open and you can continue casting your votes for the remaining leaders to help them to stand a chance of being the ultimate One Day Leader Season 7 winner. Ngithanda ukubonga our candidates, our judges, our audience, kanti-ke nalapha emakhaya for joining us on tonight's episode. Next week, we'll be discussing yet another thought-provoking topic. Now, I'll leave you with this quote from world-renowned actor Denzel Washington. Don't aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference. From myself, Upil Shongwe, Umtimanze, Ubambo Lunyu, Mageza Ngelbisi, Emanta Hleti. It's been a very emotional show. Sad to see our leaders going, but do stay tuned next week as we bring you more One Day Leader.